Hello YouTube, iFixItAll here, Team iFixItAll. Small tires. This one we got an inner tube problem, but a lot of times people have trouble breaking into these rims. How to get this tire over that little tiny rim. This is a split rim type where you take the 4 bolts out, nuts, and the rim literally splits in half, and it's an easy job to do. With these, it's not so easy. You've got to pry over. One screwdriver always works pretty good. And then when you go to do the second one, that's the bear of it. How do you break that over and not continue to damage your inner tube? What you do is get yourself a couple of C-clamps. The profile of the rim is V'd out like that. What we're trying to do is pack the tire right at its seal and force the tire to be more compact so that it's aiming toward the V'd out area. That doesn't make much sense right now, but before you put screwdrivers on it, get yourself a C-clamp at the 10 and 2 on these things and compress the tire. These C-clamps are a little bit overkill. But what's happening is you're going to end up making yourself some more room to pry. Put another C-clamp on. Approximately the 10 and 2. I'm going to squeeze this down pretty good. Now my rim has a lot more up and down play. See that? Because I'm in the V'd out area on the bottom side. The tire is now given the rim room to move out of the way for your screwdriver. Once you get a couple of these screwdrivers started, it's probably going to be home free from that point, which it already feels like I'm getting there. I may try to sneak this bigger one out. There we go. Looks like I'm headed somewhere good. I can take this C-clamp out now. I can try taking this screwdriver out now. There we go. All it took was a couple of C-clamps to get the bottom 2 corners down. That gives your rim some movement. This isn't really a trick, it's just something I've thought of. I don't know if anybody else does it or not. But I just fiddled with a small tire that a lot of people have a lot of challenges with, and this wheel is actually This tire is actually very chilly too. It's been outside, so that I didn't have a lot of stretching advantage. Again, our goal here is to get this inner tube repaired. I don't think you guys want to sit here and watch me wrestle an inner tube out. As fun as it may seem, I don't have a trick for that. So I'm going to pause it and fight it out and then get back with you. Hang tight. Okay, so I found my leak. Got the inner tube out. There's no malfunction with the rubber itself. It happens to be in an area where the valve stem itself has been manufactured at a 90, and then right down in here it's kind of the metal is shouldered. It's flared a little bit outward right here. Well, my leak is right in here on the metal. I'm going to see if I can put a little bit of transmission fluid on it and see if you can catch it bubbling. Let's see if we can do that. Yep, you can see bubbles. So let me think about how I want to fix this. Hang tight. Yeah, so I'll let the air out. I'm hatching an idea. Don't know if it's a good one or not. We're leaking around the brass, where the brass is flared out. Let's see if I can etch and sketch that. Hang on. So the valve stem is shaped like this. Then it's shouldered right here. And then the rubber the black rubber and inner tube is right there. So right at this shoulder is a leak. There's the threads. There's a valve stem inside there that I want to take out. I think I want to heat this up. After I clean this area off, I'll get in there with a little piece of sandpaper and what have you, then add some flux and then solder. Let's see if I can do that. So I've been working on this a little bit with the sandpaper right around the that flared area I was talking about. Which is right there. And take this needle valve out. I'm going to be putting heat on it. I don't want to compromise the needle valve. That's actually just a valve stem cap that has a needle valve tool built into it. Don't know where I got it, but I own it now. I think I've got it. Might need a little pair of needle nose to extrapolate. Nope, there it is. All right. Okay, small parts bin. Get all this stuff in a way. All right. Let's see what I can do to set up to put some heat on this. Hang tight. So, as ridiculous as it may look, I've got this soldering iron that's on. Homemade tip out of a piece of copper thicker wire, like 6-gauge ground wire or what have you. Since the valve stem is free, and that fits in there, and since, yep, that's getting pretty hot, what I'm going to do is slowly bring that chunk of brass up to temperature and see if it affects the well, my intent here is to heat that up, see if it takes some flux, and see if it takes some solder. Hang tight. This will be a little bit. Hang on. I'm retarded. I need my soldering iron to do the soldering. I need something else to heat this up with. Let me figure that out. Actually, no, I don't. I can just put the soldering iron right there. So all I need is a little brush to add some flux. Let's see if I can zoom you guys in a little bit. Maybe you guys can see what's going on there. That's smoking. Back off for a minute. There we go. Get the heat back in the game. All right. Get me some flux. Here's my flux. Paste flux. I'll put a little on there. Well, it's acting like it's wanting to solder right now. some flux down there everywhere I can. Let's see if I can't feed some solder around this. It might be too thick. Maybe I need some thinner solder. Try this. Oh, that's a mess. See if I can get my hand in there. There it goes. A little bit more flux on. Flux is the magic stuff to help get solder to flow better. You can't solder without it. If you're soldering without flux, you are wrong. I'm going just around that base, that flare. I need to use a magnifying glass on this. It's such a tiny little weld point. Flux. Along the back side here. That little soldering area's got barely just enough heat to melt this solder. That's why I feel pretty confident in what's going on here. That I don't melt or compromise the inner tubes. rubber fitting that I have, where the tubing transitions into the rubber. Meticulous work. Sorry about the crazy noises here. I have a magnifying glass I'm looking through because it's just the way it has to be for me. I've got to be able to see. I've done a lot of soldering, and it can ruin your eyes. Without having an assistant. Like something to see for tiny circuit chips and tiny little components. When I was in the Navy doing aviation electronics, we used to component level repair, and I don't even know if they still do that today or not. Alright, so we had some solder shoot out. I don't know why. Let's take a look at the work. Not too shabby. Let's see what happens here. Turn the soldering iron off. Clean that up with some alcohol. Zoom back out again. Spill the alcohol everywhere. And dry this off a little bit on a rag. If your solder joints are not shiny, they are wrong. You have to use flux. So it should be like a mirror finish. So what I've done is added solder around that flare that I etched and sketched up for you. And the big problem area, I believe, was right here. That's what I was focusing so heavily on. Take a look. Now I may put you guys on pause and add a little bit more, but we'll get the general premise. Hang tight. I went ahead and tuned it up a little bit. But I've got solder all the way around that. Oh, it's hard to show. Let me see if I can reposition this. There we go. How about that? All the way around. Now, I pulled the soldering iron out and I disturbed the inner tube while the solder was molten, and a lot of it flowed toward the rear and made like a bubble, but I'm pretty coated everywhere, so I think I'm ready to test. I'm going to put this valve stem back in. And then I'm going to add some air, drop it in a bucket of water, and see if it's bubbling. Hang tight. Took it outside and dipped it in water. Not a single leak anywhere. Alright, so it looks like that's fixed. Why did I do this? Could have just bought a new inner tube. Well, it's up to you. But I don't have to buy an inner tube. And I had the resources I needed to fix it. I kept this trash out of the landfills. I have several bad inner tubes I use for patches, but what am I going to do with that? I'm going to throw it away with my burnables and burn it, or throw it in the trash and let it go in a landfill. I don't know, but I fixed it. Now it's useful. I'll deflate the inner tube. I most likely won't even keep this rim, or I just don't like the rim. I don't like taking these rims off. Look, I've already bent the rim. I prefer these for these small wagons. They're just split rim. So I don't know yet. I've got a spare tire ready for use. I might as well just deflate this inner tube, put it in a Ziploc baggie, maybe rub it down with some Vaseline, and put it in a Ziploc baggie, and I'll have a spare inner tube for my wagon. But it's fixed, and you all have a great day. Thank you for watching, and remember, reject the New World Order and the pedos. See ya.